All right, last psychological video, we'll call it, before we get into the nitty gritty nuts and bolts of training. So, what we're looking at here is the love of the journey or just an overall passion for the sport that you chose, in this case, bodybuilding. So, I noticed that I specify love of the journey. This is what we need to ingrain in people's minds. This is where you should really be infatuated with. You should be infatuated with the process. You should be infatuated with the progression in the gym on a day-to-day basis. Where people fail is they are too focused specifically on end goals. And whether it's a show, that's usually the make or break for bodybuilders specifically, and that's their thing. That is where you get to showcase all of your work. And you put all your cards on the table for that show. And depending how you place, could make or break you psychologically for the next 6 months to a year. Who knows? Or maybe until the next time you plan to get on stage. But what we want to do is we want to love the journey. And this is not only going to just keep you mentally focused after a show or allow you to justify however you place in a show, it's going to keep you in it day to day. And it's also going to make you a better bodybuilder for that show. I always tell people, fall in love with the training, fall in love with the diet, fall in love with the lifestyle. Because if you focus way more on your training, on your diet, and looking to perfect those elements, like I said, you're going to be a better bodybuilder. If you focus on putting together the best training program possible and executing it to the best of your abilities, knowing you're putting everything into every set, you're progressing your lifts, you're doing everything in your power to bring up lagging body parts, whatever it may be. If you have that focus and you're living in the moment, you're living in the moment of those workouts day to day and maximizing each of those, they're going to add up. Instead, if you're just looking at the show and that's the only source of motivation that you have, it's going to be a lot harder for you to drag yourself into the gym every day, especially when things get hard down the line. And if it is in the case of a show, when you're dieting for that show and the nutrients, the calories are not there, that's when things just get turned up 10 notches. Same thing with diet. Knowing that every little choice you make with your diet, knowing that that has a direct influence on the look that you're going to present down the line, that's going to keep you in it. Know that every meal plays a role. And it sounds very extreme, but it's true. Everything should be thought out. Everything should be executed on plan. And again, if you have the passion for it, and this is something that consumes your life, this is going to be much easier. The first few videos I talked about the discipline, elements of discipline, consistency, and how they play a role within the sport of bodybuilding. This is a little different. This is a little more emotional. I talked about taking the emotion out of your decision-making processes. Yes, you want to do that to an extent because, again, specifically negative emotions are going to influence those choices that you make. But with this one, this is emotion. This is something you cannot teach. You cannot teach passion for the sport of bodybuilding. You either have it or you don't. And it's as simple as that. No matter who your coach is, no matter what support system you have, how much money you pay your coach, what supplements you buy, whatever it is, you cannot teach yourself passion for this. You either have it or you don't. It's like that with any other sport. It's like that with a job. It's like that with learning. You either want this for yourself or you don't. So that's another problem that people have. If they cheat on their diet, they won't report to their coach that they did because they have fear of disappointing their coach or whatever it may be. But at the end of the day, you're only hurting yourself. And if you really had a love for the sport that was intrinsic, and you would do anything in your power to do this, to be the best you probably wouldn't have done that in the first place. Again, there's slip ups, but if it's a consistent slip up, I will question how much do you actually want this? And when the going gets tough, are you able to crank that up a notch and realize that you are really going to be tested in terms of your resolve and how much you're willing to put into this sport? So, keeping it relatively brief, cannot teach passion no matter what the circumstance is. You could train in the best gym in the world, have the best coach, have every meal prepped for you. But without that fire to be the best bodybuilder, to be the best you possible, it's going to be all a wash. There's going to be nothing that's going to light that fire every day for you to get out of bed, to get into the gym and want to crush yourself with weights, to want to eat the same diet every day. And without the passion as the foundation, elements of discipline and consistency in terms of executing a plan, they're probably not going to happen as well.